morning everyone. Welcome back to the session on fundamentals of computers. In the last class we were discussing about internet networking and the various connections that are available on the network and what are the different combinations of networks that we can have. We'll just have a revision or we'll just have a look at what we have discussed yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about network topologies. So before talking about network topologies, let's first understand what do you mean by a network. A network is something in which you have two or more computers connected together, and in between they are connected by cables through which we have the data being transmitted. So we can share any data between a group of computers, and then to share the data between these computers we have different connections possible. So what are those connections? Yesterday we were talking about network topologies. The different combinations in which you can connect the computers are known as network topologies, and we have seen star network, ring network, completely connected network, and then multi-access bus network. We were discussing about the various ways in which we can connect these networks. When we discuss about the star network, we'll be having a host node, and to that host node we are connecting different computers. So whatever data that needs to be transmitted from this computer to the other computers, it has to first enter the host node. Through the host node it will have a certain ID, and each computer tries to match that ID with that data that is being sent. If the computer matches with the ID that is given in the data is transmitted to that network. Otherwise that computer will ignore that data and the transmissions go on in this way. So that is all about star network. And then we have ring network. Ring network topology is something where each computer or each node, we call them, they are connected to one or more computers or nodes in the network, and each computer is connected to its neighboring computers. So what happens here? The computer that is there in the network, that will be able to share and receive data from the neighboring computers. In this case, what is happening? Suppose we have computer A or node A. This node is receiving and sending data to its neighboring computers, and if I want to send a data packet from computer A or node A to this computer, then what will happen? First I have to send my data through the shortest path, like it will identify whether this path is short or this path is short. If you see here, this computer has to travel to two more computers to reach this computer or node. So the path over here is lengthier. The path over here is lengthier than the path in this way. Whereas in this path you have to only go through one computer, and this will be a shorter path for this. So it will first identify which path is shorter, and in order to go there it will first transfer the data to the other node, and from that node it will be transferred to the other node. In this way the transfer of data is happening in the ring network. Okay, and then we saw the completely connected network. What do you mean by completely connected network? In this kind of a network we have all the computers connected to the one another, where the computer 1 is connected to all the other 4 computers in the network, computer 2 is connected to all the other 4 networks in the computer, and so on. So each and every computer can directly have access to the other computer, and they can directly transfer the data that they want to send. And then we saw this multi-access bus network. What do you mean by this? We only have one single transmission line, and in that transmission network itself all the data transmission happens. If this computer A wants to send it to this computer, then it has to send it through this, it has to first transfer it to the transmission line, and in the data transmission line or cable that is connected in between all these computers, through that cable the data is identified by this computer and its ID, and this computer receives the package. Whereas the other computers which have different IDs, they'll check for its ID. When it's not matching, they'll just ignore that data. Okay, and then we have seen the hybrid network. What do you mean by hybrid network? In hybrid network we have a combination of different network topologies, that is ring, star, and completely connected networks. So what do you mean by ring network? Ring network we have seen till now, and star is just like you have a host node or a host connection in between, and it is distributing that connection to all of them. It's like there will be a junction in between through which any data has to pass, and wherever it has to reach, depending upon that ID number or that ID, it will transfer the data to the other nodes. And then the third one is completely connected. What is completely connected? If you want to send data from this computer to this computer, we need not go into any other path. We will be directly having connection between them, and we can transfer data between them. So you can have a combination of all these types of networks, and it is known as hybrid network. Okay. And then we saw the different types of networks, that are LAN, WAN and MAN. Generally, LAN is the local area network, or it is in very short geographical regions, whereas WAN is like it is for an overall the overall country or a complete region covers in WAN. And then MAN is for cities like metropolitan. It's the name itself tells you, metropolitan area network. So in the city, if you have connections, if you have to connect from one city to another, and from that city you have to give it to the different areas in that city, then we will be using MAN. And to connect between different cities or states in the country, then we will be using WAN. And in order to connect in a building, we will be using LAN. So that is how it is. LAN is the shortest thing, and then we have MAN, and then we have WAN. Okay. And then we were talking about the communication protocols. What are the communication? What do you mean by protocol? Protocol is just a set of formal operating rules, procedures or conventions that govern the given process. And then communication protocols describes rules that govern transmission of data over communication networks. So communication protocol, actually it tells us what are the rules that needs to be there while transmitting the data over the communication networks. Okay. And then what are the roles this communication protocol performs? Data sequencing, data routing, data formatting, flow control, error control, precedence and order of transmission, connection establishment and termination, data security, log information. We have seen all this yesterday. And then communication protocols are normally split into a series of modules logically composed of succession of layers. I told you, right, we will be discussing about that protocol stack and all. We will be looking at it today. And then terms protocol suite, protocol family or protocol stack are used to refer the collection of protocols of all layers of a network system. These 2 points you will understand when we are talking about the OSI model. And then we have network interface cards. We saw what is the importance of this network interface cards. You can consider them as hard drive, some hardware which will the hardware device which will help us to connect with the system or the computer to the internet. Okay. And then we stopped here. That is the OSI model. What do you mean by the OSI model? OSI means Open System Interconnection model. Okay. It is a framework for defining standards for linking heterogeneous computers in a packet switched network. This has a lot of technical terms as of now, so that's why we will try to divide them and understand what does each word mean in this. Okay. So what is the first line tell you? The Open System Interconnection OSI model. It is a framework, or you can call it like a set of rules and procedures and the mechanism for defining standards for linking heterogeneous computers in a packet switched network. If it is a homogeneous, what do you call? Homogeneous means it's all of one kind. Heterogeneous means it's of different kinds. So when you have different kinds of computers that are connected in the network, then what are the standards for linking those computers in the network is known as this OSI model. Okay. And how are they being linked? They are being linked in packet switch network. We will see what is packet switch network later in the other slides, but as of now just understand that when it is a mechanism or the set of rules that this OSI model is using in order to connect different kinds of networks, and with it is setting some standards for linking those different kinds of computers in that packet switched network. Okay. And then standardized OSI protocol makes it possible for any two heterogeneous computer systems located anywhere in the world to easily communicate with each other. That is, if you are using a computer in your city or in your place and you want to connect to something else over some other place, this OSI model is the base and it is helping you to connect with some other computer in some other place. How is that happening? That is through the OSI model. Generally, we people are accessing the internet and we are accessing so many data databases and so many websites. Where are these websites located? They are located in the databases, and these databases and servers are somewhere in some other countries or in some other regions. How are we able to communicate with that server, with this computer? That is through the OSI model. The OSI model helps you to communicate between different computers of different types in different regions. Okay. So this standardized OSI protocol, it makes it possible for any two heterogeneous computer systems, that is different computer systems located anywhere in the world, to easily communicate with each other. And then separate set of protocols is defined for each layer. In its 7-layer architecture, each layer has its independent function. We will see in the next slide what are the 7 layers that are present and what is the function of each layer in this OSI model. Okay. And for each layer there are a set of protocols are defined. Okay. Because there are 7 layers, right, and each layer has its own set of standards and rules, procedures that it has to obey and it has to follow in order to have the transmission complete from one system in one region to some other system in some other region or in the same network in the same area also. Anywhere in the world when two computers are connected, either in the same room or in some other 2 different places, then these 7 layers architecture, it is helping out with its each individual set of rules or protocols, so that the transmission in the network is happening properly. Okay. And each layer has its independent function, that is what we were talking about. And then layers, interface and protocols in the OSI model. Don't get confused or don't get scared when you see this diagram. It is a very simple diagram, but only thing you have to understand is the different layers in this. If you see, this is node 1, okay, it's mentioned here, this is node 1, and in node 1 you have 7 layers, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, and these layers are communicating with the process that is happening in the computer. Okay. And then you can leave this for a while, I will explain you this also, but we have one more computer or node 2 that is having the same thing, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7. All the computers have the same OSI architecture, and that does not change with any computer. All of them are having the same set of architecture and rules. The reason is, if there is no standard procedure or there is no standard protocol that is defined for transmission of data in a network, then what will happen is there won't be compatibility with the other computers are in the network. When I am having a computer in this place, and if I want to communicate with some other computer in another place, then these two should have the same set of rules, protocols, procedure standards, everything. Otherwise what will happen? If my computer is of a different manufacturer or different company, that computer will have a set of rules, its own procedure standards. Then when I want to communicate with the other computer there in other place, that computer will also have its own set of rules which are different from my computer rules. And what will happen when I try to communicate with that, there will be so many issues in between in the network. The reason is both of them are having different rules and one doesn't understand what the other is trying to tell. So it would be like that. In such a case, there would be no use of connecting 2 computers in a network, and it is not possible to have so many sets of rules and procedures to be used by each and every computer. Suppose we have like 10 locations or 100 locations, and each location has its own set of rules, or each company has its own set of rules, then what will happen? We cannot remember, or we cannot have a standardized procedure for transferring of data from one computer to other in the network. So that is the reason we came up with a procedure called the OSI model, in which we are having a standardized OSI protocol which is common for all the computers, and when we follow this kind of a standardized OSI protocol, all the computers are having the same set of rules and procedures, and every computer is able to interact with the other computer that is there anywhere in the world. So that is the advantage, and that is the use of having a standardized protocol in any concept. Okay. So before moving on to this connection diagram, let's forget at least this part. Okay, let's forget this part and only try to focus on the node 2 or the OSI layers. So there are totally 7 layers in your OSI model, and this is the basic backbone you can call for your internet connections or your networking concepts. If you want to really understand the concepts in the networking, you should really understand what these 7 layers are and what each layer is doing. Only then you will be able to understand how the internet is working, what is happening inside the computer when we click on a website and all. You will understand all these things. Okay. Now let's only consider node 2. In node, let's consider this is the only node we have, and this node is having the OSI model. In the OSI model, we have 7 layers. The first layer is your physical layer, okay, and then we have the data link layer. Third layer is the network layer. Fourth layer is the transport layer. Fifth is the session. Sixth is the presentation. Seventh is the application. If you see the names over here, and for each and every layer, it doesn't change because they are all the standardized protocols that are available in the OSI model. The same with the second one. In this node also we have first layer is physical layer, second layer is data link layer, third layer is network layer, fourth layer is transport layer, fifth is session layer, sixth is presentation layer, seventh is application layer. So wherever you see whatever computer you try to understand or whatever kind of OSI model you understand, there is only one standardized OSI model, and that OSI model has 7 layers with each layer having its own functionality. Okay. Now what is happening when you want to communicate between the node 1 and node 2, and this is the whole network that you have, then there is a protocol between the physical layer, that is called the physical protocol, then data link protocol. Each layer is having its own individual protocol is what we have discussed. Separate set of protocols is defined for each layer in its 7 layer architecture. Each layer has its independent function. That means every layer over there, the physical layer, the data link layer, the application layer, whatever layers are there, all the layers are having its own set of protocols, and each layer has its independent function. No function is like it is mixing up with something else, some other function, both of them are working together. It's not like that. Each function does its own output, or each function does its own process, and it transfers its output to the next layer, whatever is linked to it. Okay. So each layer has an independent function, and then so each layer has its own protocol, that is physical protocol, data link protocol, network protocol, transport protocol, session protocol, presentation protocol, and application protocol. We have 7 different protocols available, and they all interact between each other. Now suppose when you go into the internet and you search for a website, then what will happen? First, when you click on enter, when you type something and you click on enter, there is an input that is sent from the keyboard to the computer, that is a process. Okay. So the process A is to fetch for the website that you have entered on the browser. Okay. Now when you click on enter and the process is starting, then it first sends the data to the application layer, or there will be a request to the application layer in computer 1 or node 1. So what will happen? The process is directly communicating with the application layer. What do you mean by this application layer? Your browser and all. Okay, the programs that you are using. From the programs layer, it then transfers to the presentation layer. In the presentation layer, again it is transferred to the session layer. From the session to the transport, from transport to the network, from network to data link, and then from data link layer you will go to the physical layer, that will be a hardware layer. Okay. So that is how it is transferred from the hardware layer from this computer to the other. We will have a detailed diagram about each and every layer over here, then you will understand the depth inside this concept. Okay. So but for our understanding purpose, as of now, just try to understand we have 7 different layers in the OSI model, and this 7 different layers, each layer has its own protocol and set of rules, and they communicate with the other computers in the network, and the other computers in the network are also having the same OSI model with the different layers, and each layer having its own protocols and functions in that computer also. How many ever computers you take, all this OSI model and all, they are the same for any kind of a computer. Okay. And then Just a minute. Okay, and then we'll go with the next concept in this, that is internet or internetworking. Okay, so if you, why did I explain you this concept is that, just a minute. The reason I explained you this concept before is that when we go into the internet working, how does the internet work and how is the data being transmitted in the network, when we talk about them, we'll be only discussing about each and every layer individually, and we'll try to understand what that layer is performing. Over here, this diagram might look simple and the OSI model might look very simple, but when you start understanding each and every layer has its own procedures and its own mechanism that is working, in which it is working. So at that point it will become very difficult for you to memorize or understand these layers and this concept. That is the reason. If you have an idea about what is happening over here, then it will be easier for you to understand the layers, individual layers and its operations when we are talking about internet. So the next concept for us is internet. So before going to internet, let's try to understand what internetworking is. Internetworking, two or more networks to form a single network is called internetworking, and the resulting network is called an internetwork. So what does this definition mean? That means, suppose I am in this place. In this place, if I am connected, this computer is connected with multiple other computers and I am forming a network in this place. Okay. Now you people are in your own destinations and you have your own computers. Let's assume each of you are again connected to a network in your room and you have several computers that are connected in your room. So let's suppose we have now 30 different locations and 30 different networks. In my area or in this place, at this present place, I have one kind of a network topology in which I connected like 5 computers. The same with you people. Each of you in 30 different locations, you people are having 5 computers in each place and you are using different topologies. One is using ring network topology, one is using star network topology, the other one is using mesh network topology, and different kinds of topologies like this. Okay. So when each of us are having our own networks in different places, and now we have 30 different networks in 30 different locations, and in each network we have 5 computers connected in each place. So if you want to connect all these places, all the 30 places, and you want to connect between the different networks, and if you want to interact between the different networks, then that is known as internetworking. Okay. Generally, what do you mean by network? Previously we didn't know anything about networking. Network, suppose, let's assume. Then in the last class we spoke about networks, where when we connect different computers together, then it is called a network. That is what we understood. And why are we connecting different computers in a network? To transfer data or transmit data between these networks. How are we transmitting the data between these computers? We are transmitting them through a cable or a wire through which data is being transmitted from one computer to another in the network in one place. And then now we understood how to connect different computers in different combinations in one place with multiple computers, and that way we have now 30 different locations with different computers in each area and different combination of network connections. So all these 30 different locations are individual now and they are not connected together or in a circuit. Now in order to connect these 30 different locations and to have transfer between these 30 different locations remotely, then that is called internetwork. That is interconnecting of 2 or more networks. What is a network? Network means connection of 2 or more computers together whereas inter-network is connection of two or more different networks. Here we have to see it at a larger scale. Network is just a small it has a very small scope where different computers are connected in a network, or different computers are connected, that is called network. And when you connect these different networks, that will become an inter-network. Make sure you understand this very clearly. Okay, interconnecting of two or more networks to form a single network is called internetworking, and the resulting network is called an inter-network. Okay, what is the goal of this internetworking? The goal of this internetworking is to hide details of different physical networks, so that resulting internetwork functions as a single coordinated unit. That means, in the previous slide we were seeing about we were seeing about the physical layer, the data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer, all the different layers and the interface that is there between them. Now, if you understand this point, what is it saying? That it hides the details of the different physical networks, and it doesn't let you know, or it doesn't portray in such a way that they are in different locations and they are being connected in the network as a combination of networks, but it will be as if you are all in one place and you all are coordinating accordingly in the same place. It looks like that because the internetwork is hiding all the details that are related to the physical networks that are present in different locations, and it appears to us as if that we are just using the computer in our place with the connections in the same place itself. When you are connected to the internet with a cable, you feel as if there is all the data is being there in the room itself, and you are able to get the connection or data from that internet. It appears to us as if they are in the same location, or they are not in the different locations. Okay. Then what are the tools that are helpful for us for connection of internetworks? Tools such as bridges, routers and gateways are used for internetworking. We will see what bridges are, routers, gateways are in the later stages of internet connections and all, but as of now just try to understand when we are trying to combine different networks in different locations, that is internetwork, and the goal of internetwork is to hide the physical details of all these networks and make them appear as if they are all in one unit. Okay, and then to make this happen, we are using tools such as bridges, routers and gateways for internetworking. And then internet is the best example of a internetwork. Okay, so we have seen today what is OSI model, what are the different layers we have in the OSI model, and what do you mean by internetwork, and how many of you you understood, you know what internet is, or what Google is, or what the browser is. If you don't understand, if you didn't know all that before, in the next class I will show you what internet is, how is it connected, and what are the different stages we have in the connection of internetwork. Okay, and okay, before going into that concept in the next session, I would like to show you something over here. Just a minute. Okay, so if you people know internet well, and if you people are good with browsing and all, then it's okay, but for those who don't know, I am telling this. Most of them, or there are many people from whom I have heard that internet means Google and Google means internet. It's like that for many people, but it is not the case. If you have to connect to the internet, the first thing that you require is an internet connection, that is a cable which helps us to connect with the other computers which are in several different locations, and the data that is there in that computer you are able to access through that wire in the form of internet. Okay, and then in order to access that internet, we require a browser first of all. What do you mean by browser? Browser is an application that helps us to read the data that is present in the other computers through this internetwork, and also helps us to find out different data that is present in different locations. It's just like your whiteboard. You have this whiteboard, right? Or otherwise you have this PPT. What does this PPT or this PowerPoint presentation, the PowerPoint presentation only helps us to read the data that is present in this PPTs. Whatever is the PPT data that is there, we are able to read that with the help of PowerPoints. The same way this Microsoft board, it is helping us, whiteboard, it is helping us to write some data and help us to project something on the screen. And then the same way this browser is just an application which is helping us to connect to the internet or fetch something on the internet when it is connected to the network. And then the next thing is, so you all understood now what browser is, at least to a certain extent. And then when you open the browser, you are being displayed a page, and this page is called your search engine. It is not the internet that we are using, or this is not everything that is there in the internet. It is just a search page which is helping you to search and connect to whatever different locations data is there. You are able to find them with the help of this search page. Generally this page you call it, or this Google you call it as a search engine. Google is not everything about internet, and there are so many other search engines like Google. So what you have to do is, after this class, try to find out how many different kinds of search engines are there just like Google, and how many different kinds of browsers do we have. So what is this Chrome? Chrome is a browser and it looks like this. Okay, Chrome, when you open Chrome, it looks like this. So you have to find out what are the different browsers that are available for us in the today's world, and what are the, which one is the, like, at least try to understand which one is better than the others, and also what are the different search engines that we have. So you understood now Google is a search engine which is helping us to find out data that is there in the internet. The same way as Google, you have so many other search engines. You can just go to the internet and then you can just use this Google search engine to find out about different search engines also. Okay, so that's all for today's session. In the evening session, we'll start with internet. What are the different procedures we have in the internet, and how are they all connected in the network? Okay. If you have any other doubts, you can just post it. I'll be here for a while, so I'll try to answer them. You can post it on the Q&A session here. If you have any doubts, I'll read your questions and I'll try to answer them. If not now, you can ask me in the next session also. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you.